Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
We're going to switch gears now. We're going to talk about a topic that has been really impacting a very specific part of the market. We're going to talk about how streaming has been disrupting traditional business models in linear television. And we're going to look here at those advertising spending trends because, of course, it's impacting how big tech companies approach the space as well. Data that emerged just this month from Group M shows that the ad industry is estimated to have pulled in $1 trillion in annual revenue for the first time. And tech companies are getting a huge chunk of it. We're going to bring in Mark Douglas, founder and CEO of Mountain, a tech company that specializes in TV advertising software. Mark, I think about a lot of the discussions we've had with you all year, ones that have really surrounded political ad spending, ones that have kind of talked here about the dominance of Amazon and Netflix getting into different types of streaming, different types of viewing that have helped them capture a little bit more of that ad spend. When you think forward to next year, what's going to be the new story here? What is going to be the latest that we see in terms of what seems like a parabolic move in this industry?
Yeah, well, I think the big thing is that all of the major streaming networks are streaming first now, and that you could see that. Like in meetings I had with a lot of networks during the year, they went from like, what do they do about their linear business to they're just entirely focused on streaming, consider linear legacy business. And I think all of them see, and when I say all, I mean Disney, obviously Netflix, others, see it as a real big growth opportunity for the first time in a long time for the industry, because this industry has been so dependent on a small number of very large advertisers, and now that customer base is broadening very rapidly.
What will be the next catalyst for advertising? Obviously, the election was a huge one, but we need a new one now.
Well, I think ESPN really going all in on streaming. That's happening in 2025. I think that's a big deal. Sports, any sports content tends to do really well. You see Netflix bringing WWE to Netflix. I think it's going to be a great moment. And that's only like less than 2 weeks away. So you're just going to see a lot more sports content. I think Disney and others are really stepping up in terms of, are going to step up in terms of the amount of content. But it ultimately is all about sports right now. Just people, the advertisers just love sports content.
Okay, there's a specific ad I watched last night. I kind of lost my mind a little bit because I was like, wow, wouldn't have thought that this was the audience for that market. Monday Night Football, okay? I'm watching it last night, Mark. And all of a sudden, did you see this advertisement? The SAP ad about technology, data centers, nuclear power, and the CHROs needing to be in the conversation.
Yeah.
You see that a professional audience is being targeted through sports. Sports is kind of the vehicle for everything. It feels like when you look at some of these ads that are being brought to the platforms. What does that mean in terms of different companies trying to target different audiences? Do you think that that you'll see different types of ads going on to these major sporting events because they're becoming ever more important to reach people?
Yeah, so there's two things happening at the same time. One is you have some advertisers who are kind of still hooked on that like big moment. Tomorrow you're going to have big moment, 2 NFL games on Netflix, but they're kind of just still really attracted to reaching a lot of people at the same time. And sports is one of the few opportunities to do that. But then at the same time, you have a lot of new small and mid-sized advertisers who are coming in this market for the first time, and they don't care about big events. They don't care about sports. They care about revenue for their business. They just want to reach that perfect person that's going to buy from them. And so both of those trends are growing at the same time. And so obviously in this case, I'm doubting you're a candidate to buy SAP software, unless you're a CFO of a company. So, they're definitely going for that, like, let me reach as many people as I can. I think that's actually going to decline over time because the ability to target the right consumer is just getting better and better on streaming TV.
Well, why waste your dollars, right? I mean, if it's so expensive to get that kind of that ticket on Monday, Sunday Night Football, then why not go to other places? Why not go to Instagram, for example, if you're trying to be more targeted in terms of where you're getting your viewers?
Yeah, I mean that's part of this, like the bifurcation, is that these large advertisers, they're led by CMOs that I think are just used to that form of buying media. But go to the average e-commerce site. Mountain works with One Wheel. We work with Hexclad. They would never place ads like that. Their goal is to find that consumer who's going to buy literally that week and to reach them and put their product in front of them the first time. And they're comparing streaming TV to Instagram in the way you're saying, whereas in this case, SAP clearly was not. So it's just younger digital buyers versus more traditional media buyers just kind of attack the opportunity different ways.
Yeah, Mark, I mean, it's very easily break upable into the different demographics. So it's TikTok for, up to a certain age, then it's maybe Instagram, then Facebook, and then, the very oldest among us, perhaps the actual newspapers and TV stations.
Yeah, well, one thing to keep in mind is more people watch TV a day than use social media. So about 3.5 billion people worldwide use social media daily for an hour, and 5.5 billion people a day watch TV, and they do it for 3 hours. So, feels like Instagram, like social media is the new medium, but it's a small ad that you can swipe by really easily versus an ad on it's on a 6.5-inch phone screen versus 65 inches on your wall, and more people watching it and doing it for longer. So TV is not only holding its own, it's making a comeback in terms of providing both the reach, the targeting, and the big screen with 30 seconds of time to get your message across as an advertiser. That's really appealing. It's very, very appealing for advertisers to get that.
Are the middlemen still as important as they were, or is there the potential now for advertisers to go directly to the broadcast outlets?
Yeah, so I mean, that's literally what Mountain does. We provide a self-service solution mainly geared to small and mid-sized businesses, but we increasingly have larger brands using our platform. And so I wouldn't say the middleman is gone, because when you're spending big budgets, you want a lot of strategy around it. And that's what all the advertising holding companies do, what the Group M, who you mentioned earlier, what they provide. But increasingly, I would say a majority of the newer advertisers coming in this market do it themselves. They're coming in and they're like, I'm used to doing this on Instagram, I'm used to doing this with Google, and I'm now going to be used to doing it on streaming TV. So again, the customers are kind of changing at the same time the industry is.
Just really briefly, Mark, any stadium's going to be renamed next year? Sonali, I heard you yesterday talking about
the Nissan Stadium.
The Nissan Stadium, yeah. Who would be able to buy something like that, or who would be in the top names?
Well, I don't have a name off the top of my head, but I know a few years ago it was all about crypto, naming stadiums about crypto. I don't think we're going to see that trend continue. So there is a new name. It's probably going to be a little more traditional.
All right, Mark, thank you so much. That is Mark Douglas, founder and CEO of Mountain. Looking forward to speaking to you again in 2025.